Hello, this is Prajnahridaya in the Padmaloka garden, and earlier this week on Wednesday and Thursday we've been celebrating Buddha Day. We've been celebrating Wesak, Buddha Jayanti, the anniversary of the Buddha's Enlightenment, over 2 days, and I wanted to share something, or we wanted to share something of that time with you, which is why I'm talking now. Firstly, actually, I just wanted to share personally that in the weeks running up to it, I did feel I wanted to kind of mark the arrival of Wesak. So what I did was I painted another one of these Buddha tiles. So this is my third one now, in fact. We've actually turned one of the rooms in Padmaloka, the front library, into a sort of painting room for those that want to use it for painting Buddha tiles or other things. But I'd really recommend it. It's a really wonderful, enjoyable, fantastic thing to do, even if you don't think you're good at painting. My first tile was a lot more rubbish than this was. It wasn't rubbish, give myself credit, but yeah, don't let that put you off. If you are interested, do follow the links below to the Buddha Tile website, Buddha Tile page. But yes, as I was saying, we wanted to really mark the Buddha's enlightenment really well. Usually we don't get the chance to do it quite this fully. We have to work with our retreat program, which of course is wonderful, but having the space meant we could really devote time to really celebrating, which has felt particularly important during this time, that we're not just thinking in terms of what will be useful, but actually really rejoicing and celebrating in what it is we find most dear and valuable, and turning towards that with awareness and with depth as well. So yeah, the community, we had a set up the day before, preparing lots of flowers, flags around the stupa courtyard, just making the place beautiful and ready to invite the Buddha in, as it were. And then we went into a day of silence. So our usual retreat day, we had the full day in silence, which is quite similar to that. We've been doing a retreat day every week, and it's quite similar to that in that regard. We still had the talk from Padmaloka, which he spoke about the perfection of patience this time, which you may have seen already. But yeah, the place was so silent. I really felt that you guys, you're not here. There's no retreat on. It felt so empty and so spacious. Wandering around the place into different rooms, and sort of no one being there. I mean, of course, the community's here, but it's a big place for just 18 of us, even though that is a lot of people to be together during this time. But yeah, very silent, very contemplative, really turning inwards. We had a silent meal, my first ever silent meal with the Padmaloka community. Eating together in silence is a new experience for me, and washing up in silence together as well. Usually it's a time for kind of joy and joking, and not to say frivolity, but certainly an enjoyable time. But yeah, sort of doing that in silence is quite a strong thing, actually. And Satyaraja led us in the Shakyamuni visualization practice, which I'll provide a link to below. We did record that, so yeah, you can do that yourself at home. Don't worry, you don't need to be an order member. And then Sanghadasa led us in a puja at the end of the day. A wonderful surprise. We had readings from Bhante, reading from the Dhammapada on the section on enlightenment, the enlightened one. Yeah. But then going into Thursday, that was the Wesak proper, Buddha Day proper, and yeah, we just really wanted to celebrate during this day. Did lots of chanting. We started the day with circumambulating around the stupa before we even went in to meditate, offering incense, taking flowers with us, offering flowers to the shrine, candles, chanting the Tiratna Vandana as usual, and going into a period of double meditation as we do every morning here at Padmaloka. And then probably what was the highlight for me, and I know others have said this as well actually, is mid-morning we watched a lecture from Bhante in the flesh, on video in the flesh. You can actually access loads of recordings of Bhante Sangharakshita giving talks. Really recommend that. So yeah, 18 of us there watching Bhante together. It felt like such a special occasion, watching him on the big screen on our projector. It was the talk called Discerning the Buddha, which I'll provide a link to below. Him talking about the Buddha as a worshipping Buddha, that he's not just a meditating Buddha, he's not just a Buddha that teaches even, but he needs to worship even after enlightenment. That's part of who he is. and which is quite profound. It's something that's really stuck with me. This notion that Bhante says in the lecture that worship isn't just a means to enlightenment; it's part of the very nature of what enlightenment is, and which is quite something. And it was wonderful then to go into a threefold puja, which we did straight after that, after more circumambulating worshipping of Dada Rinpoche's stupa, to go into a puja and do worship after Bhante so vividly evoking sort of the wonder and the beauty of worship. It was a very special morning for me, and I know it was for the rest as well. And then later more Shakyamuni visualization from Satyaraja, and then we had a celebratory feast. Arvid really went to town. In fact, several of them did, getting in provisions. I mean, we've been quite frugal, as it were, not wanting to overspend, really wanting to cut back, to not use Padmaloka's precious resources, whilst also trying not to impoverish ourselves at the same time. But we did allow ourselves to have a bit more of a feast this time. Onion bhajis, Bombay mix, flapjacks with dates on top, and ice cream. So sort of just kind of having a treat really with the community. It was it was a very delightful thing to do. And then Surita led us in the final ritual of the day. More chanting, more offerings to the stupa, more flowers. Great seeing Surita up front doing that. He's fantastic actually at leading these things, and I don't know if there's more to say really about that, but really, it's just such I feel like a particularly rich and potent time for worship, particularly being aware of suffering during this time, and sort of we're all in such different circumstances. Some people are really difficult circumstances. You know, you've probably heard us say this loads of times, but of course we're very fortunate here at Padmaloka. We do have particularly good conditions here, but also, I mean, you probably experience this yourself. You go and retreat, you start meditating, the existential situation can come vividly alive, even if we're not sort of in sort of the thick of it ourselves. So I've definitely, it's really been on my mind as well, and sort of, but nonetheless, it's but even more particularly important that we do, as I said, that we do acts of ritual, of devotion, of worship, that we really kind of clarify what the real refuge is during this time. And I think festival days are so important for that, because they're not useful. We can celebrate what's good in the world, no matter what else is going on. Which I was really pleased to be able to do, and feel like quite honoured to be able to do it with the men that live here. So many fine men. But I also wanted to let you know that Padmaloka is sort of moving into a new phase now, and I think probably it's the case for a lot of us. A lot of you hearing that gradually the lockdown measures are going to be slowly lifted. I mean, we don't know how long it will be before we can have retreats here again, but nonetheless, it does feel like psychically we are moving into a new phase. We've been very much so far just keen to sort of not rush to sort of try and pin down what it is we should be doing during this time. So we've been turning inwards a lot, allowing a space to open up whereby everything we do can come out of something that's a bit more natural, spontaneous, trying to come out more from depth. So far we have been doing more meditation, more study and the like, whilst also trying to keep in communication with people and find ways that we can support people outside, people that would normally be able to come to Padmaloka. But we are moving into somewhat of a new phase, and we don't know exactly what that'll look like now, but certainly we can feel this sense of wanting to reach out more, seeing what can we offer, how can we support men, particularly men training for ordination, but sort of men generally in deepening their going for refuge during this time and beyond. So watch this space. As I said, we don't know exactly what that will be yet, but we have thoughts and we have ideas. So we may be seeing more of you in some form or another soon, perhaps. I hope wherever you are that you're able to stay well, stay safe, and whenever we see you, I look forward to that. We do miss having people here, having you guys here. So wishing you all the best, and go well.